order of the document requires the design and implementation of procedures for dealing with serious and imminent danger and for danger areas, with specific reference to safety drills and evacuation procedures. In effect, this means that the responsible person must provide an emergency plan. This will be specific to the premises and will detail the pre-planned procedures in place for use in the event of a fire. This plan should have regard to the size of the undertaking and the nature of activities undertaken at the premises. In few organizations, a responsible person means the emergency coordinator who is dealing with the real emergency at work site. Hello and welcome. I am Javed and you are on the platform of Safety First. If you are first time on this channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon. If you find the video informative, then like, comment and share with your colleagues and friends. Let us discuss straight away what should be in the fire emergency plan. Dear friends and fellows, fire emergency plan should be in writing, available to all employees and safety representatives, form the basis of fire training and instruction, available for inspection by the fire authorities, fire departments, by civil defense. Fire emergency plan must include the evacuation methods, notifying emergency services at the earliest opportunity, medical treatment and assistance, effective communication with everyone at the workplace, and how often the emergency procedures are need to be tested. As a minimum, these points should be the part of fire emergency plan. Let us discuss now the objectives of a fire emergency plan. The purpose of the emergency plan is to ensure that everyone in the workplace knows what to do in the event of fire, especially how to safely evacuate the workplace. The plan should provide clear instruction on actions employees should take when they discover a fire, how the fire authority and any other emergency services will be called, and who will be responsible for doing this, how people are to be warned when there is a fire, how the evacuation of the workplace will be carried out, where people can safely assemble outside the building. Muster points are fire assembly points after they have left the workplace, taking account of traffic, fire brigade movements, etc. Procedures for checking whether the workplace has been evacuated. For example, roll call, provision of name lists, and checking of each room. Identification of key escape routes, how people can gain access to them and escape from them to places of safety. Firefighting equipment provided, the circumstances when it should be used and those trained to use it. Duties and identify the employees who have specific responsibilities in the event of a fire. Fire marshal. Arrangements for the safe evacuation of contractors, the disabled, members of the public, and visitors, and others identified as being specially at risk, such as patients in a hospital. Machines, processes, power supplies to be isolated in the event of a fire. Detailed arrangements where necessary for high fire risk areas of the workplace. Procedures for liaising with the fire brigade on arrival and notifying them of any special risk. For example, on the location of gas cylinders or highly flammable or toxic materials. Arrangements for ensuring fire safety training is given to every employee, and the criteria for giving the all clear and return to the building or the premises or the workplace. Dear friends and colleagues, I was discussing about the objectives, targets, and the goals of a fire emergency plan. Let us understand now what is meaning of fire safety information and instructions. Employers must also ensure that all employees and contractors have been told about the evacuation arrangements and are shown the means of escape as soon as possible after arriving at the premises. On their first day at work, new employees should be given a fire safety briefing that covers the location and use of the escape routes, including alternative escape routes from where they are working, the location, operation, and meaning of the fire warning system where they are working, the fire drill arrangements. Fire drills are practical exercises designed to check people's understanding of the emergency plan and make them familiar with its actual operation. The action to take on discovering a fire, how to raise the alarm, the action to take on hearing the fire alarm, the procedures for alerting members of the public and visitors, including, where appropriate, directing them to exit points, the arrangements for calling the fire brigade, the evacuation procedures, and details of the assembly points, preventing people wandering off from the assembly points, head counting for staff and the workforce at assembly points, authorized procedure for a return to the workplace, including prevention of premature return, the location and, when appropriate, the use of firefighting equipment, the location of other escape routes, especially those not in regular use, how to open all escape doors, including the use of any emergency fastening, the importance of keeping fire doors closed to prevent the spread of fire, heat, and the smoke, where appropriate, how to stop machines and processes and isolate power supplies in the event of fire. The reason for not using lifts not designed for use in a fire. For example, in the event of a power cut, people may become trapped. The importance of general fire safety and good housekeeping, including safe disposal of flammable and combustible materials. Dear friends and fellows, in addition to the training in general fire precautions, employees should be informed of the risks from flammable materials used or stored on the premises. They should also be trained in the precautions in place to control the risks, particularly their role in reducing and controlling sources of ignition and fuel for the fire. Those working in high-risk areas should receive specific training in safe operating procedures and emergency responses. You are watching Safety First, and today we are discussing about fire emergency plan, its objectives and targets, its benefits, and the roles and responsibilities of an emergency coordinator. Dear friends and fellows, all the employees identified in the emergency plan who have a supervisory role in the event of a fire. For example, heads of department, fire marshals, or fire wardens, and in some large workplaces, firefighting team should be given details of the fire risk assessment and receive additional training to fulfill their roles and responsibilities. Let us discuss now what actions are needed by the responsible person or the emergency coordinator in the case if there is a fire in the premises. The key actions that need to be managed under the jurisdiction of the responsible person in relation to fire precautions and fire protection are as follows. Establish a suitable means of contacting the emergency services and providing them with any relevant information about dangerous substances held or used on site. Determine the responsible person for your premises in relation to the regulatory reform Fire Safety Order 2005. Source and read the industry specific risk assessment guidance that pertains to the organization's activities toward the premises and the workplaces. Ensure a competent person conducts a fire safety risk assessment that covers all parts of the premises or the work areas. Involve employees and their representatives in the fire risk assessment process. Employees must be informed of the risks to them identified by the fire risk assessment, the measures that are taken to prevent fires, and how these measures will protect them if a fire breaks out. This requirement extends to the provision of information to non-employees such as temporary or contract workers. Consult with employees or their suppliers when nominating people to carry out particular roles in connection with fire safety and about proposals for improving the fire precautions. It is also the duty and the responsibility of the competent, responsible person or the emergency coordinator to remind employees that they must cooperate with their employer to ensure the workplace is safe from fire and its effects, and must not do anything that will place themselves or others at risk. Appoint one or more competent persons, for example, a trained employee or third party, to carry out any of the fire precaution measures identified by the risk assessment. Implement the necessary fire precaution measures so as to ensure that as far as is reasonably practical, everyone on the premises or in the workplace or nearby can escape safely if there is a fire. The emergency coordinator is also responsible for the maintenance of the work area. He has to ensure that the premises and any equipment provided in connection with firefighting, fire detection, or fire warning, or emergency routes and exits are appropriately inspected and maintained by a competent person so as to keep them in good working order. The emergency coordinator or the responsible person must provide information, instruction, and training to employees and other relevant persons about the fire precautions in place, not only when they first join the organization, but as required throughout their career within the organization. Provide information to the parents of any child below minimum school leaving age you plan to employ or engage in work experience about the fire prevention and protection measures in place at your site. Design, implement, and communicate a fire emergency plan. Test fire safety procedures and precautions. Review the fire risk assessment as necessary, and always when circumstances change or demands for risk review and upgradation. Dear friends and fellows, fire is a potential killer. Every year, we are losing hundreds of people and thousands of millions due to catastrophic fire incidents. As an HSC practitioner, as a supervisor, or as a part of project management, we must learn about the fire emergency procedure. We have to update our knowledge about firefighting systems, fire protection system, and fire prevention systems. We should equip ourselves with fire prevention and fire protection techniques. And that's all for now. Training session is over. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and share if you find the video informative and knowledgeable with regards to your role and responsibilities at your workplace. Hope to see you soon with a new HSC tutorial. Till then, take care. Good luck and Allah Hafiz.